welcome to my channel. My name is Hetty and today I am going to be showing you how to improve your relationships. So there are many different types of relationships you have in your life. So there's friendships, there's family relationships, and there's work relationships with your colleagues or your employers. There is relationships with strangers, so sort of acquaintances that you don't really know, and there's also relationships with your partner, so like intimate relationships, romantic relationships. So they're all the basic kind of different relationships, and I am going to show you how you can improve every single one. My first tip is to stop focusing on the negative aspects of the relationship that you want to improve. So you've most likely got a relationship with this person and you're interested in improving it because you care about that person and you know that they have good qualities about them. It might be that in a friendship there is a friend who is really annoying doing certain things, or they are late all the time and that is something that really annoys you, and you just really don't like that aspect of them, and it just sort of messes up your day when they're late, when you're going out. It's really annoying. So it might be something small like that you're wanting to improve. It could be anything a lot bigger, like you feel like they're a liar, or they don't tell you the truth all the time. So what you need to do is, any relationship, stop picking faults in that person. Stop focusing on that negative aspect of that person. It can be a little bit difficult sometimes because you're like, well, obviously I'm going to notice it because it's the thing that really annoys me about them. But that's where you're going wrong. The more you notice any negative traits in someone, the more they are just magnified. The tiniest little thing, and you'll probably have noticed this, the tiniest little thing that person will then do will be so annoying. Like if somebody else did it, it wouldn't even matter, but because you notice it about them, it's just a nightmare for you. So what is a good way of improving, stop having the negative focus on that person, is to focus on the positive aspects of that person. Now you can write a list, which is probably the easiest way. So you can write a list of things you appreciate about that person. So they might actually be really thoughtful, they might have been there for you in times of need, they might be really fun when you actually go out, they might be really clever and you appreciate it, or they might handle different situations well, they might be a really hard worker. So just go through everything in a list with any relationship you want to improve, no matter how big or small, and just write all the things you appreciate about them. Don't focus on anything negative, just everything that's lovely about them. It might be the smallest thing, it might be hard at the start because you're feeling really annoyed at them and you're thinking like, oh, but don't think but, just focus on the positive. What do they do that is good for you in your life, that you enjoy in your relationship? And then once you have started to do that, these traits will start to shine through a lot more, and the traits that you've noticed before that were negative, they might still be late all the time, but it just sort of goes over your head. It doesn't really bother you anymore because the aspects of that person that are positive are just so overpowering, and that's all you notice. So you will start to enjoy that person's company a lot more. If you genuinely notice that there's nothing that you could ever say about this person that was ever nice, I'm sure there will be, because there always is, but then you might just want to reevaluate the relationship, whether you actually need to spend so much focus and effort on that relationship. So the second tip is to stop having the expectation that other people are there to serve you. It is nobody's job, no matter, even if you're in an intimate relationship with that person, if they're your partner, it's not their job to make you happy at all. They can do nice things for you, and it's nice for people to do lovely things for you, and of course it's going to make you feel nice at the time, but once it's done, like, it's done. So they've done something lovely for you and you felt nice at the time, but it's not just going to be a continuation of that happiness all the time. You have to stop expecting other people to show up for you, to be constantly trying to make you happy. It is enough for every single person to make their own selves happy, and then once you do that in yourself, you just radiate that out anyway. So stop expecting other people to serve you and your needs. They have their own needs as well. You can obviously still have good relationships with people, and this isn't to say, okay, just be have relationships with people that are just terrible anyway because they just can't make you happy anyway. That is not what I'm saying at all. you just need to understand that only you can make yourself truly happy. You're the only one that has to live in here 24/7. You're the only one that is with yourself 24/7 when you're, you might be with somebody else 24/7, but I guarantee they're not in the bathroom with you all the time, or they're not in the shower with you all the time, or you're driving to the shop on your own. They're not with you then, so who's going to make you happy then? They can't be there constantly to validate you all the time. So you really need to stop expecting people to be the reason that you're happy and be your own reason that you are happy. You also can't change other people. I do think people can change, but they have to make that change on their own. So if you have a relationship, don't just wait for that person to change. Change things about yourself. Have a look internally. Maybe it's you that's making them react in a different way and in a way that you don't really like. So nobody will change on their, on the force of you forcing them to change. You can't shake someone and be like, change for me, do what I want you to do. That's not good. That's controlling. That's not good behavior from you, and that's not good vibes from you either. So yeah, just stop having that expectation of other people to make you happy. Leading into the third tip is to just love yourself completely first. If you don't fully love yourself, you have no other love to actually pour out and to give to other people. Once your cup is completely full with love for yourself, then it will spill out and it will just naturally pour out into other people. You really need to focus on building the relationship with yourself first, or you're never going to truly understand other people's feelings and emotions, and you're never going to truly understand how relationships work properly. And by loving yourself and putting your full attention on yourself, it's not selfish. Don't feel selfish for doing it, and don't let anybody make you feel like you're selfish for doing it. We all have to focus on ourselves first before we can fully give our undivided attention to any other relationship. So you really need to focus on yourself. You need to work on within yourself. So you can't expect to improve a relationship and expect that person to be better in the relationship when you feel, if you don't love yourself and you feel down all the time, like that person's going to pick up on those vibes. So you need to just fully focus on yourself first. So the fourth tip is to give unconditional love. So this is more so for your closer relationships, so your close friends and your family or your partner, but it can be applied to people outside of that as well. But to truly love someone and to give someone your whole entire love, it has to be unconditional. You can't expect the love from others on the basis of a condition. So the basis that they buy you something, or the basis that they text you all the time, or the basis that they give you a hug every single day when you see them. That is a condition, and if you base that love and that relationship on that condition, then you're just going to constantly be searching for the next thing, because they can't give you that condition all the time. There's so many times when people can't give you certain conditions. So you need to truly unconditionally love people to have the best relationships with them, to not just love them and care about them and want the relationship because they're there or they offer you something. It's just something that you can love someone regardless of whether they are in your life every single second of the time. And the fifth tip is to prepare yourself for situations that might be difficult in different relationships. So probably a very common example used is you might have a partner who's got difficult parents, and you want to have a relationship with them because you feel it's important and you respect your partner and you do respect them, but they might just not be your kind of people. They might not be the people that you want to be around all the time. I don't know, they might make comments at you, or they might just not particularly like you, but you want to put the effort in having that relationship with that person. So with these kinds of relationships, it's important to prepare yourself for, especially whenever you are going to see that person, or whenever you're going to be having a conversation, but just in general, so whenever they happen to come into your life, you just know how to deal with the situation. So the best thing to do is to understand exactly what it is about that person that makes you have a difficult relationship with them, and then recognize that their behavior towards you is actually nothing to do with you. When people have any kind of negative behavior towards you, is actually nothing to do with yourself at all. Majority of the time it's just an internal reflection or other situations that they might then put onto you. So just recognize that their behavior is not under your control, and you don't need to control that. And then when you go into these kinds of situations, you feel a lot more relaxed, you're not as reactive, you don't then make the relationship worse because you then comment back or say something back. Just try and prepare yourself as much for any of these kinds of relationships that come into your life, or again, not necessarily those, like I mentioned at the start about the example with the friend who might always be late. You know they're going to be late, and then you might just have a tendency to, every time they're late, just bring up a comment or make like a bit of a sly dig, or then you're in a mood every single time you go out when they're late. If you get ahead of that, and if you get out ahead of that when you know that that might be a possibility, that might be a condition that happens, then you will stop feeling like that when it gets there, because you've sort of prepared yourself emotionally for that to be a possible outcome, and for the person who you are trying to repair your relationship with, for that be a thing to happen. So they are all the different sort of tips or how I have helped improve my own relationship. And honestly, if you follow these different tips, then you'll start to see the relationships in your life improve greatly. You will just start to see everything really in your life improve greatly, because your relationships are a huge part of your life. And once you sort of be at peace with where your relationships are at and improve them, you will start to see everything else improve, because the law of attraction attracts like. So once you start being more calm and peaceful and positive and loving unconditionally to everyone, this will all come back to you from these people and more. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, then please like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, please keep spreading the positive vibes and love, and I will see you soon. Mwah.